need to do that again because Trick did that while in the enemy jungle yesterday. So pick some bans underway, and we've got some weird and wonderful ones actually. ROCCAT and Zac to deny Airwax, a Shen as well. So those blue side bans of Tahm Kench and Kindred, both still available.
So keep in mind, the Zac we have seen in the jungle, like yesterday it was played by Freddy in the top lane. And they also had Taric in that game, so there was a lot of weird and wonderful picks in yesterday's series as well. Zed bans we've seen a lot, actually, and surprisingly on the red side, it's a very curious one, because normally on red side you'd expect to have a mid lane counter pick, but Zed and Ahri have been banned away. These are big name picks, and Tahm Kench is let right through into the first pick. We know how much trouble Tahm Kench caused yesterday when Kikis played it, and they've got the same kind of setup again today.
Everything was let through the pick and bans because Ryze and Kindred available, both locked in. This time for ROCCAT, so Freddy going to have the option to run that, or Betsy, who did pretty well on Ryze yesterday, actually. We'll see what he decides to run, but for G2, Graves is up as well, if they wanted to go for the same flavor of team composition yesterday.
It's possible. One other pick that I'm kind of expecting Perkz at some point to bring back, and considering the amount of poke champions we've had come up, could potentially be Jace. It's not a champion that a lot of people are playing, but Perkz in Challenger last summer spammed it with the Azir. Those were his two big champions. At this point, we see the Lee Sin has been locked in for Trick, so that's a fairly strong top lane setup here. Very unlikely to kill a Tahm Kench. Now you've got a lot of damage coming from the jungle as well.
Yeah, and considering how good Trick was yesterday on the Graves, very excited to see his mechanical prowess and decision-making on Lee Sin. Perkz is just playing with the crowd a little. We'll lock in the Lulu. Still somewhat of a flex, really. Tahm could still go support.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm more expecting now Lulu to go up to the top lane, Tahm Kench to go support. While Perkz has played a handful of games as Lulu, specifically when this lineup actually had Saphir on it, believe it or not, with Jeebus. They were playing Juggernaut compositions, but that was well back into summer. So it is in Perkz champion pool. I don't expect it to be the case. I think they need Perkz to be a carry here.
So, Perkz on a carry. Where will they find it if they put Kikis on that Lulu? That's the question we'll find out as ROCCAT reveal two more picks. I'm expecting maybe a Lucian would be the safe AD carry at this point. Fits a lot of comps. Even though Corki is up, we'll see if ROCCAT agree. Betsy will be locking in that Alistair for Eddie, so he won't be on the fabulous Taric, much to Deficio's disappointment.
Yeah, unfortunately no Taric today. I think the other thing that they're looking at here is the ability to just have safe lanes here if this Lulu does stay in the mid lane. You know that Ryze can be flex, top could be mid. So you don't want to give Betsy too easy a lane matchup to counterpick here. So there is still a lot of options available. Does look like it will be the solo lane, Tahm Kench and the Lulu here. So at this point, it's on Betsy. Does he try and pick something that can look to carry into a Lulu? Not going to do too much, if I'm honest. Lulu, one of the more safe mid laners overall in that kind of echelon with Orianna. So if Betsy does go for the Ryze, it is a champion he can look to scale up on.
Well, on the side of G2, they are all in on Emperor. Outside of some damage from Trick and Perkz, this is really about enabling Kalista. Seeing the Alistair locked in, even though Poppy's available, you assume it's not going to get locked in here for Eddie or whoever else wants to run it.
And the funniest thing about this is the same style that G2 beat Vitality when they were playing it. I mean, Vitality were the ones wanting to protect the AD carry, and for some reason G2 are like, well, we played really well against it yesterday. Let's go for that kind of composition. I mean, there is nothing wrong with that kind of composition overall, but when you just look at it, it can be difficult if you're put in front of a lineup that becomes very tough to kill and has a fair amount of damage. Now, what I will say is Ryze will take more time considerably than the Ahri that was played into the Protect the AD carry composition yesterday, but still there are the issues for G2.
I'm not hopeful for this comp. The only damage source, Kalista, and all of her end stacks can be negated by Lamb's Respite or a Mundo heal, or if she gets caught. So I don't know. Let's see if G2 can make me a believer. But for ROCCAT, I think they have more options on the assumption they can get a few items under their belt, because it is another scaling, limited wave clear team composition.
It is. And I wouldn't count G2 out too quickly. Perks will still be able to find openings in the mid game where he's looking to kind of get involved with the rest of his team, look to output damage. Lulu is by no means the lowest damage mid laner when you look at it.
Definitely.
Certainly has a lot of potential still to make her mark on the game. It's not just all about protecting that Kalista, but it will be a very tough ask. Now, if you want Kalista to be able to carry, that is going to be a tough one.
And of course, both Trick and Emperor, the two players that were brought onto G2 for the LCS, they were imported from Korea. Let's see whether or not they can pick up the win. Jump onto Twitter, hashtag G2win, if you believe in the former Challenger squad, or hashtag ROCwin to make it 2-0. Both of these teams will end week 1 undefeated. You can see the champions of the summer split on the back wall as we load up onto the Rift. These teams want to make it to those playoffs, and it all starts with the regular season. So G2, earlier power spike, limited damage.
I think they've got enough damage for my liking for now. I think the problem becomes when Mundo gets a good few items under him and Ryze has the items under him, because then Ryze's damage eclipses a lot of what G2 has to offer, and that's just purely from a survivability point. Mundo, how do you kill him? Emperor kind of has to put a lot of the focus there, so there do become problems that we can see, but ROCCAT want to go fairly deep just to get the vision control on the early game, and this is just something we've seen very standard from most of these teams. Even
Advantage
on the
Emperor.
top side, they're going in as well. G2 looking for the same kind of vision.
This is a little risky, I think, because Betsy's going to be able to find Kikis. Not really going to be able to do anything about it, though, as Kikis is going to waddle his way out. Kinch was unbenched for one more time. And we're going to have those standard lanes. So I do like the fact that, G2 were a very early active team yesterday, and their team comp can do very well. The Lulu can enable Kalista, can enable Tom Kench, Lee Sin.
Yeah.
So if they build up that lead, that's one way to make me shut up from my ban opinion.
That is true. What I would say, though, is if G2 can pull this off and show another style, they will be one of the real teams now in this first week that are showing us a multitude of different ways of playing. Fnatic stuck to the same picks and bans as yesterday. H2K stuck to the same macro play where they would all group on one person and all be involved. So if G2 can play two very different styles and get 2 victories, I think that's a good start for them.
Even if they don't win, the experience of playing a very all-in protect the AD style composition is also very, very useful to have that knowledge and experience under your belt on the stage. So let's see how they perform themselves. It is going to be standard lanes. And Emperor and Hybrid already trying to zone Sephi and Edward.
Here's this mid-game, this mid-lane damage, though, from Perks. He's kind of been coerced into taking that Ignite 100% here in this mid lane because of the Mundo. You have to have something that'll deal with that, with the health regen he gets. So he's going to look for that kill pressure in the early game against the Ryze, and Perks is very confident in these 1v1 setups. So look for him to output that damage. Look for him maybe to look to burn summoners, get a kill perhaps. Unlikely, but he's certainly a player that can do it. Flash into the Devour!
Kikis has flashed for the Nom. Trick finds the Sonic Waves, gone for the tower dive, but will not have the damage. So Kikis flash for Freddy flash. And they're just going to trade and back away. But Freddy's forced to recall already, healing off from the damage.
And Kikis won't mind that at all, the flash for flash, because I think at that point, yes, it would have been nice to have got extra from that, but Kikis is looking just to completely set up the pace of this top lane. Look to just trade all the time against Freddy, give him as tough an early game as he can, just to try and deny him farming, because once a Mundo gets a couple of items, it's very, very difficult. Airwax hops over the wall, won't get too much from Perks,
So
he's in trouble.
Trick, the Sonic Wave connects, another flash away. Trick finds himself on the wrong end of a rune prison, takes a couple of autos, and Betsy is now the one that's in somewhat of a trouble. The Glitzer Lance lands. Hybrid, he's flashed forward to find the exhaust. Trick needs to connect with the Sonic Wave. He won't, as Betsy flashes away. And everybody's fighting in the mid lane. Summoner spell's blown, but it's ROCCAT to come out worse for wear.
Yeah, you can see how aggressive G2 are trying to be here, just pushing up, trying to get as much as they can in this early game to set ROCCAT behind. If they can get that going, and they have so far, that is how they'll stay in this game. The problem is they patiently farming in some of the lanes. The bottom lane, you can see Sophia is farming up a lead against Emperor, even though, you know...
This is how
Hybrid
ROCCAT started to win the game yesterday with an invade, with the assist. Trick is in trouble. He gets booted backwards. Airwax and Eddie, they get the first blood. And ROCCAT, they've got themselves a 1,000 gold lead already.
Yeah, really nice pickup here, knowing that Trick was low. They didn't give him any options to recall other than running all the way out of his jungle, and Trick at this point was trying desperately to just hold on to some of the control that they had still in that lower jungle so that he didn't lose his red buff, but ends up paying for it. Red buff goes away. Edward spends a little bit more time out of lane, but comes up huge from it. Flash Pulverize once again on point from Edward.
And I'm quite confident that Airwax had actually set Trick as his target from the passive, so going to get those stacks and bonus damage building up even earlier. So a good start for ROCCAT. Almost a mimic of yesterday's game.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, another thing that goes in Airwax's favor, not only did he get that from the kill on Trick, also gets a very easy Rift Scuttler on the way back out. That was marked up as well, so we'll get that little bit extra from the stack there. So Trick has found his way into the bottom side of the map. Bottom river looking for Sophia here. In goes Hybrid.
Hybrid's gonna tag Edward up. 1, 2, 3. The fourth will stun. It does. 80's being stacked with those Rens, and Emperor will find the kill. G2 reply, and it goes to the land that needs the gold.
Yeah, this is all trickle down right now. It's all of these flashes that were burned in some of the more aggressive moments. Good pathing out by Trick, knowing he's just avoiding the Rift Scuttler vision. Really nice pathing actually, but Airwax already knows that it was the bottom side of the map that Trick was on, so goes right into the top jungle. Is going to take away a lot of the top side. I wonder, this may end up forcing Trick to walk into his jungle, see nothing, and look to either gank or counter gank top side. This is something we actually saw a little bit earlier in the Unicorns of Love Splice game, where Diamond Prox managed to force the hand of Trashy and force him to come top lane, and ended up really not paying off for the Splice guys. So Trick will see the wolves running through the jungle. Isn't going to head top from that, I doubt.
Yeah, but Airwax is waiting. He's going to get the jump. We'll have the Dance of Arrows as well as Wolf Frenzy. 1, 2, 3. And there's the HP damage. Going to carry on chasing. Not going to go for the dive just yet, but chunks him low. Perks is roaming from the mid lane, but will find some trouble in the form of Betsy. And Airwax again playing very, very confidently. This is a guy who really sort of struggled last year. And in his first 2 showings on stage, is having a positive impact. Kick his piece out.
He's out. He's like, I can see what's going on here already. Nope, don't want any of this under my turret. That is obviously a big, big factor, though. That is one of the global presences now. Down Perks in the mid lane.
Betsy's overloading. Rune Prison, Wild Growth. Flash away. There's no flash for Betsy. He's ghosting in. And Betsy 1v1s Perks with no combat summoner.
No combat summoner, and also no real extra combat stats. Perks even had Ignite during that. I would love to see perhaps the laning before that. We're not going to get it because I'd love to see like a whole minute worth of the trades there. But Betsy is going to obviously have a lot of damage with the Thunderlords, but that generally isn't enough on a Ryze this early on. I mean, this is a Ryze that had a Doran's Ring and a Sapphire Crystal, is able to trade effectively into Perks. I am very interested to see how that's set up, because Perks is not the kind of mid laner that ends up dying very often 1 versus 1.
Was Lulu one of those subset of champions that he stood out with during his Challenger scene tenure?
No.
Maybe there's the answer to your question, Stress, because that was the introduction yesterday. This is a
okay. I have the answer to what exactly happened. For about 2 or 3 shots, there was a cannon minion and about 3 or 4 ranged creeps attacking the Lulu at the same time. So Betsy was actually lower on health before that even started. Bot lane, though.
Well, Eddie's going to be stunned out here by Edward again. Trick is just repeating the gank. He will knock Hybrid under the tower, but simply not going to matter. And Emperor will again bounce back. It's touching distance. 400 gold the difference, and it's Emperor that's getting all the kills for G2.
It is, and that can end up, giving G2 that lift here, as we were talking about. It's all about protecting Emperor later the game goes, and if he's getting the kills early, building himself towards that Blade of the Ruined King just to try and get through the Dr. Mundo and the rest of the ROCCAT lineup, it could end up good for them, but Sophia, very low bottom lane. Perks, double flash.
It's action everywhere. Perks is not going to get away from this one. He's got no flash. Glitterlance doesn't matter. And ROCCAT have got a kill. Now, the way this game is played, when ROCCAT gets a kill, Trick ganks bottom and gets Emperor 1.
He's going top.
Far away, though.
He's going top, but I think the pathing that he will look for in the next minute or so is going to be to mid lane to try and gank Betsy with his flash down. Ghost still not available as well. Keep in mind, ROCCAT used his flash there as well, so it was 2 summoners for the kill. ROCCAT will be happy with that, but G2 still have that opportunity to capitalize back on it. But this is a very back and forth summoner trading game that is resulting in a good few scrappy ganks that are coming up with kills.
And a question you have to ask, is a Ryze that's 2-0 or a Kalista that's 2-0 at 10 minutes more valuable? I think I'm going to put my money on the Ryze, but we'll find out. Because ROCCAT need to make it work. ROCCAT have got a good head start. Airwax continues to build stacks. I think that was his 3rd, if I read that correctly. And he spent so much time in G2's jungle.
Yeah, he did. He just was going straight into the jungle, looking for any kind of opportunity to deny Trick any kind of farm. Good start to the game from ROCCAT, honestly. We talked about how we didn't really see that from him too much. Nice to see ROCCAT actually being able to put in these performances that we did see a couple of when he was playing on the Wolves last split. But
hey, look, Trick's coming bottom.
Yeah.
2 to 3.
Here we go again.
Safa's going low. There is some support from Perks. Ignite will be available shortly. He's been the target for the 2 previous kills, but Airwax wants to come in. Teleport comes out from Freddy, and Perks will be left for dead. Wild Growth should just interrupt the inevitable once it gets used. The Fate's Call will pull Hybrid backwards. He goes back in to knock Sapphire up. Hybrid continues to burn low. Wild Growth has been used onto Emperor, the damage dealer, as Betty gets turned into a cute little munchkin. He gets kicked under the tower, and Lamb's Respite is going to keep everybody alive. The heal will pop up and survive for ROCCAT. 2 more kills.
Well, this is exactly what's happening for ROCCAT as to what G2 did yesterday. They're just getting the lead in the early game, and they're going to be able to transition this better and better as this game opens up. They've already got the mid tower, now they're getting the bottom tower. All they're really trading away for it is damage on the top lane tower, and I kind of want to take a look. Tamkench isn't that close to getting the tower yet. It's only 1/3 of the health is gone, so Kikis didn't choose to teleport down for that engage. I wonder whether there was a good spot for it, because Freddy did join this fight. Edward goes aggressive on Quicks. Teleport wasn't available during the fight. That's a key factor here. So good teleport timings there from the G2, from ROCCAT's roster to know they had the numbers advantage. In comes Betsy from the river. We expect him to output a fair amount of damage now with the kills in his arsenal from the beginning of this game. Perks drops from there. Lamb's Respite. Exactly what you need in this situation. And it's going to be so difficult. That situation is going to happen time and time again, where they're able to get 1 or 2 members low. Out comes the Kindred ultimate. Emperor can't do too much.
Yep, that is what I'm anticipating. That was something that we mentioned in Picks and Bans. ROCCAT have come out swinging. Airwax has had a very good impact on this Kindred. And if we look up top, Trick is coming to play. He wants to work his Kikis. Kikis will swallow Freddy's Mundo, and there's the masochism and sadism burning away. Freddy's trying to run out. He gets stunned and just comboed down. The regen is good, but I don't know if it's enough. Stunned again. Kikis and Trick just running him down. But it took a very long time. Look in the middle lane. Stress, we can talk about that gank in a moment. Fate's Call is used. Nobody gets knocked up. Glacial Fissure will become available in just a few more seconds, and Edward may get stunned out. Abyssal Voyage means the Kench has arrived. He does have a trick to deliver, but
there was no treat at the end of that one. They just run all the way back away from it. So just, no, don't want this. We use the ult. That's the second one that Kikis has used that's kind of like, well, okay, we don't want anything from this at the end of it. So not by no means a bad ult, because just the presence of arriving with the 2 people there is enough for ROCCAT kind of to go, okay, maybe we don't want this fight either, and everybody backs away. But you can see just the sheer damage from Lucian's culling on Emperor at this point in the game. Even with having a fairly quiet game for Sophia, just farming up, he's had a lot of focus from Trick on the bottom lane. Now he's got a focus from Hybrid coming bot. Exhaust used as well.
Wow,
this is a lot. There's no
follow-up.
No support. There's no follow-up from Emperor. This is like big miscommunication. Emperor's here sat in the bottom lane. This is a cannon wave. I want this. Don't make me miss this farm.
Exhaust and Glacial Fissure from Hybrid being put down, and there was simply no one around to help out. So G2 gonna lose that access. Now Freddy's got about 1/3 of his teleport cooldown available. He actually watched Kikis TP back to that top lane. So ROCCAT are going to have this additional timing window where Freddy can TP for another play. They've got 3 towers. They've got a 4,000 gold lead. ROCCAT can do whatever they want because they're so far ahead right now.
The reason that they can do whatever they want right now is you look at the ability for G2 to capitalize on anybody on ROCCAT that's out of position. You know, we don't have anything. Ooh, as Airwax has been caught. It's good damage.
That's really good damage. Airwax forced to flash away. Tower secured here for G2 down bottom. That will close some of that gold gap, but Trick, he wants to use that sort of rush Lee Sin style that we saw in North America. We'll talk about that in a moment. Hybrid is going to find a stun into Freddy. Freddy is going to have a ton of spears stacking into him, but he's going to regen for such a long time. Blade of the Rune King's been used, as has the Fate's Call. Ren Stack is continuing to build.
It's going to be huge.
Wow, he is just gone. Now Betsy wants to run Kikis down. And they've got Sapphire as well. It's a 3v2.
He has his ult.
Kikis can get to Airwax. He might be able to do something. Can't even use the grey health.
Airwax holds his nerve there. Knows he's in no danger at that point. Just completely holds on to his ultimate. ROCCAT just trading. Again, every single time something happens one side of the map, ROCCAT are taking something on the other. They have slowly extended this lead further and further. This is a fairly open, fairly messy game right now. When you look at the clean League of Legends that people talk about, when it's trading towers and not a whole lot of kills. Talking about that bottom lane trade for Freddy, he's got no real armor, or didn't at the time. Still doesn't really have any, and at that point Freddy is able to be taken out by Emperor. The later this game goes, once Freddy has that extra armor, has the extra health, that's when it's going to become almost too difficult for Emperor.
The 2 times you've seen him killed though, it took such a long time. Then you've got to add the threat of Airwax, Betsy and Sapphire to team fights without the fact that Eddie can disrupt everything. That's the challenge that G2 have to overcome, but all 3 kills are sitting with Emperor right now. One additional one to Kikis. It's going to be interesting to see how they play out this next mid-game. 4 pink wards for ROCCAT as well, so let's see where they place them and how much value they get from the vision.
Yeah, that really is one of the key things now with the changes to vision, is how do you use your pink wards? How do you really think about your vision control? Because pink wards, this is a discussion we've been having between a lot of the casters. Is like, pink wards, how valuable are they compared to like the old pink wards? They're slightly cheaper because we gutted Riven. That's why we had to give her a little bit back, okay? That's why. When you look at old pink wards, they were pretty expensive. If you didn't get too much from them, you didn't really want to place them in really weird spots. Now they're a bit cheaper. You can't buy green wards anyway. So just kind of be a little bit more liberal. Throw out as many in good situations as you can. And if they survive the length of an old green ward, they've done their job quite spectacularly.
Yeah, oftentimes more so.
Yeah.
Okay, placing some deep vision down. Teleport is available for Kikis, as is Freddy. And the rest of ROCCAT, they've grouped themselves up in this middle lane. They've decided to siege for the tower. The minion wave is going down relatively quickly. That is until Freddy decides to TP in. And there's a support from Kikis. He's teleported onto a ward. Airwax is going to put down Wolf's Frenzy. And Kikis is looking to eat somebody. The Fisher goes out and splits up the team fight, but there's no further stun. Lamb's Respite comes on. Airwax will get kicked out, and that means he can get killed. Perks finds it. Follow Perks as well as Emperor. He's the man that needs to win this for G2. Eddie's going low. Shutdown kill as Kikis finds one. That's a double. The Kench is looking for more. Get in my belly is what he's yelling. Saf is going to get dropped as Perks finds the 3rd kill of the fight. The 4th for G2 and a follow-up tower.
Well, there's the answer for you. For G2 in this situation, they get Airwax out of his ultimate, force the ult very early on by catching him out. And at that point, it's just so easy to pick up the rest.
Yeah, the coach is sitting there as this game has been cracked wide open. A 4,000 gold swing.
Big swing in this one, and it's all from catching Airwax. The ultimate splits everybody up here from Hybrid. It's not exactly what he was looking for, but at that point, he'll take it. Trick's waiting for the kick. Pushes Airwax just out of range of his ult, and from here, it's all on G2's focus. Look at who they focus down. It's Betsy first, then onto the rest of the squishier targets. Freddy is pretty much untouched from this. He popped his ultimate, and then is running around, not taking any aggro from G2. G2 managed to take down the rest of the lineup. Freddy can't really do too much.
Just like that, G2 now have a 2,000 gold lead. Blade of the Rune King as well as Hurricane completed for Emperor. But Hurricane can crit now, so if Emperor wants to go the full damage route, maybe we're going to see some Iage in his build. He's going to need some armor pen, I'm expecting, so let's find out. Kikis will not find the tongue lash onto Airwax, but wow!
Whoa.
Zaffa gets chunked by the Thunderlords. Another flash from Airwax, and composition activated. G2 are screaming.
They are, and you can see there is still damage from Perks. It's not all about the utility. That is just the primary role. Oh, Airwax getting dropped low, tricks into the enemy base.
He's been kicked on the wrong side. Sonic Wave won't find its target. A tower goes down on the side of ROCCAT. That was the inner turret?
Yeah, inner mid tower.
But look on bottom, Freddy's busy split pushing, Stress.
Yeah, inner mid tower fell for Freddy. Mundo not the fastest at this. Remember, we did take away some of his E damage at this point. Now G2 want to push onto the top lane. Freddy, I think, may even have to come back here. He's not getting enough work done in this middle lane. G2 already taking the inhibitor tower.
You started a base race 4v1 with the Mundo. G2 have cracked open the base. They haven't backed away yet. Freddy's going to finish his recall, but it's going to be too late. G2 will be... No, they haven't got the inhibitor yet. Hybrid is going to use the Glacial Fissure. Inhibitor still stands. Perks is going low. He's forced to back away. He doesn't have Wild Growth either. Betsy's looking for Emperor. Emperor's running for his
he's
life.
alone.
Perks is down. Hybrid's down. Emperor forced to flash away. And ROCCAT, crucially, save their inhibitor.
Save the inhib and potentially save the game for themselves. I think there would have just been too much map pressure for G2 if they'd have taken that inhib. At this point, ROCCAT, they're the team that has the 280 carry setup. They should be the ones being able to push towers, but they left it to a Mundo, and now they turn to the Baron. This isn't always the answer for teams. And for ROCCAT, is it going to be too little? Are they going to be able to take this?
Let's take a look. Emperor's looking for more. Grey Health is being used for Kikis. The Baron's been stopped. It's a 3v5. Trick's got one. Kikis has got another before he goes down himself. Emperor's looking to hop, to skip, to jump, to kill. He's got another. And all of a sudden, G2 find 4 more kills. Emperor is not done yet. Freddy's forced to run away. He's lobbing that paperwork, but it may not be enough. Emperor tries to lifesteal his way up. He's going to be able to use that martial poise, and he finds the ace.
Emperor once again able to just clean everything up at the end of this fight. I believe ROCCAT, after starting the Baron, peeled down to try and take out the 2 members of G2, but the backline kept in the Baron aggro radius, which did so much damage onto the carries, and ROCCAT just umming and ahhing around this objective that we know has become a trap for teams. Now it's G2 that secure the Baron. That was an easy pickup at the end of the team fight. I want to see this again, because look at this, ROCCAT, they decide they want to fight, but where does the rest of ROCCAT stay? They're still inside the aggro radius. I see another Baron shot hit from then. Now it's Baron actually aggro's back onto Saphir after quite some time at this point.
I don't know if it ever left.
Well, Baron had a long time of not attacking, and Saphir got hit for about 200 damage.
Also, I don't know if fishing was the right way to go, because everybody on ROCCAT was looking at Kikis' Kench. Emperor, there was never anyone attacking him. He just stood in auto attack range and was left to do his job for free, and did it uncontested. G2 get a Dragon, a Baron, a 5,000 gold lead. And now they're looking for more on this bottom turret.
Yeah, and now at this point, you've got to look at how did G2 deal with what they were thrown early game. Trick had to deal with Airwax invading so much, and Trick's at 2-1-10. He's having another great game here today. Perks was able to hold through the damage in the early game and now providing damage in utility. And Emperor, he's at 506, has been able to just clean up these fights very well, has been in trouble a couple of times.
Oh, Fate's Call knocks up members of ROCCAT, and the Fisher slows them down. There is no retreat when G2 set those sights on you. Freddy's going to stay alive from the Lamb's Respite as Emperor shuts down Airwax. The tower will drop shortly in just a few moments, and another inhibitor will follow. This might be game. There's Baron-empowered minions. We're 23 minutes in. G2 won yesterday in 25, and they want to break that record today. They were down 4,000 gold, and G2 break open the Nexus turret, knock down the second, and go undefeated in week 2. What a performance! Eventually.
Great stuff out of G2, and you know, a dead Eddie and Freddy means this game is in the